Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Roach Wiggle, July 11th, 2024. It has been 2 weeks. It's been 2 crazy weeks. Two crazy weeks. I'll say hello to everybody and hop right in with all the updates. I should have written this down beforehand because there's so much stuff. So many updates. We got Bahijger, Hyperbeam, LC, Joseph Tavir, Michael Bradley, Stephen Logan, Farouche, Laura Taylor, Anthony Green. Welcome, everybody. Let's Exotic Wilderness. Let's dive right into some stuff. There are a lot of updates on the moving front. I think I mentioned before, July 19th, we're moving some Zen Monkey. Some non-vital stuff. We're going to be moving farm materials, containers I use occasionally, anything non-vital to me living in this house. So some furniture and whatnot, all getting moved. DDC Geek, welcome. Hello, everybody. It's great to be back. Everybody, there is a big old stable fly in here. I'm staring at it right now. I hope it doesn't bite me. Anyways, Raistlin, hello. Smash the like. Thank you, Laura Taylor, for bringing it up. So Raistlin, I don't think I've seen you before, so welcome. Also, friendly reminder to everybody, we can have another Roach Crossing After Dark, and the winner of the karaoke bidding, will get to hear me do the karaoke song of choice at the next Roach Crossing After Dark. We are a mere 163 subscribers away from that. So if you have any means of recruiting more subscribers, please do that. We usually get a couple more of them pop up before the auction. If anybody would like to advertise for the auction, let me know. Please do that. Let me know, and I will reward you for that. Just let me know where you posted and whatnot. So anyway, so the move is happening. I'm having a hard time remembering because it's been 2 weeks and so much stuff has happened. The last time that I was here, had the township meeting already happened? If anybody can remember, have I updated anybody on how the meeting with the township went? I can't remember if that happened before or after the last live stream. Laura Yadeski, hi. Hello, Laura. I don't think I've seen you before, so welcome. And if I have, you must have changed your profile picture or something. Rayson says, I watched a few streams, just never chatted. Well, welcome. All right, everybody. Oh, I got to watch the cable. I checked the cables before I started the stream to make sure that one is not loose, that I could inadvertently rustle it. But huge news then. This is a huge live stream to bring everybody up to speed. So Angel and I went and met with Springfield Township, and we thought that everything was going to be crazy at first. What is happening? What is last live stream was right before the meeting. Oh, this is great. I got all kinds of stuff to talk about. So what is happening is Springfield Township has acknowledged that their animal keeping legislation is quite draconic, and it's been the source of a lot of issues in the township, apparently. And so I actually contacted them right as they were in the middle of a very expensive process of redoing the ordinances for Springfield Township. So I got to them right as they were in the middle of all this stuff. So what they're loosening them up. We're allowed to have a lot of stuff, livestock stuff. They did not know how to handle my situation. Apparently, they dumped a lot of time into my situation in particular with the roaches, and they looked at my site and they did as much research as they could. They wanted to hear some things from me about waste and floor plan and all this stuff. And so they are basically going to write raising roaches, insects indoors, etc. They are going to write it into the new set of ordinances, and it's going to kind of get slipped in with some stuff that they're doing under like the aquaponics sort of thing, indoor commercial things on residential properties with aquaponics and all that stuff. So things are looking good. Hello, Circa. Things, they said, basically the stuff is poised to go through. This updates, doesn't seem to be opposition or anything like that. It could not go through. Somebody could take big issue with something or other in it. There is, on July 23rd, there is an open town hall meeting, whatever it is, open forum, something on the ordinances. And they encouraged me to go and talk at that so that I could bring people up to speed and kind of say what I'm going to be doing and what I'd like to do with the roach thing and the livestock stuff. And so that's where we're at now. They were very interested. They were very willing to work with us. It looks like things are going to go smoothly. Even without much input from my end. That being said, there's some stuff like they're grouping with the livestock stuff. They group quail and chickens together, and I'm going to go, and they seem very interested in this point when I go to the meeting, the big town hall meeting, whatever. I'm going to bring up the fact that one Cotternick's quail is like 1/10 the size of a standard size chicken, and that you can keep on a half an acre dozens of quail and nobody would even have a clue that you were doing that noise, smell, blah, blah, blah wise. So I'm going to see if they can split quail off of the other poultry section of stuff. I'm going to also bring up, at least with chickens and ducks, that there is a huge difference between bantams and standard size breeds. So they do crow, but like it's nothing compared to a rooster crow is the other thing. You could have dozens of quail in a shed and almost nobody would know you have that, and they wouldn't even know the difference between the quails calling in your shed and the robins singing their head off from March through June, July. So everything is looking good. I asked them, hey, so, you guys think this is all going to go through well, and you guys think that all this stuff is going to pass as it currently stands and with my input and blah, blah, blah. So I basically asked them, so is it legal? Is it good for me to, am I set to go ahead and start a bug building basically? Like, can I go ahead and start doing this process because it's going to take several months to get a building built and all this stuff? And they said, yes, there's nothing wrong with that as long as it's 25 feet from the lot line and blah, blah, blah. So everybody, we are clear for the roach building. Now, there's one more factor. Zen Monkey Behidra says, I've kept quail in my garage. Yes, I basically said that like 15 to 20 quail make less of a mess and less smell in one day than a single Labrador retriever. And Zen Monkey with the Muscovy and Mallard stuff, yeah, there's that, but they're kind of lumping all poultry together as long as it's under 30 pounds. They have also done some interesting things at the larger animal level. So before we could only have 4 goats and nothing else of that sort. Now on our property, I think it was somewhere between, with this new ordinance, is it's like 8 to 12 goats and other medium-sized hoof stock like alpacas and the miniature horses or something, and full-size livestock, including bison, buffalo, llamas, horses, donkeys, mules, etc. So these new, everything is looking good. The only thing that raised kind of a red, or not just a flag with me, other than the quail and bantam poultry being lumped together with standard size breeds, etc., was the rooster stuff. There's something like you can have like one rooster per every 2 acres, and then only like one more per every something or other, which I was talking about with Zen Monkey. The argument there is that when you, and there's good research, there's good data on this too. When you have one rooster, you either have a rooster on your property or you don't have a rooster. If you're keeping a flock together, if you're keeping a flock that can all commingle and all this stuff, you either have a rooster or you don't have a rooster, because one rooster will crow just as much as several roosters kept in a flock together. Because when you have roosters like that, and especially if you have other chickens growing up in the presence of a rooster, they will suppress the testosterone of the younger roosters. They'll change their phenotype too, but basically the dominant rooster will crow, and probably less than it would crow alone in the presence of other roosters. So I'm going to try and make the argument of like, there should be a pretty steep hill here for getting a rooster, for having one rooster, if you guys are having problems with that. But then I'm going to present all of the papers that I pulled up on this that basically say, yeah, if you have one rooster and then you have 3 more, it's not going to be any noticeable increase in noise because of the way that their social hierarchy works in a mixed flock. So I will be making that argument that you have a rooster and it's crowing, or you don't have a rooster. So Laura Taylor says, congratulations, thank you very much. We're not out of, we're not done yet, but we're off to a very good start now. Alan says, I'm coming back from coming, but I'll be listening. That's fun coming, Georgia. Exotic Willingness asks about what all will be up at the auction, which I will touch on in a minute. I want to finish the building, house, bug projects, everything, because there's a lot of info to share. So basically, we're good to go on animal stuff. Everything that I'm doing is, everything I have currently is pretty much well under the scope of what's allowed. And it seems like it's going to go through and become even more lenient. So we're good, basically. I'm still going to go and say my piece on the 23rd. I do need to do that. But the city was happy to work with us. They've got a lot of stuff on. They've got a guy in that does like their natural resources management type stuff, who seems like he'd be a wonderful person to meet and talk to about the natural features of Holly. I talked to him a little bit. I sent an email asking him if he knew that there was a state extirpated species in one of the meadows outside the city center thing. Exactly what I says. Roach's ice bud beetles. So basically, I'm gonna flit around the collection the day before and pre-pack. Suddenly, lighting is reasonable, and pre-pack a bunch of bugs. So we're gonna have a system where I will be shipping out that Monday/Tuesday. All the auction stuff will be going out because it will already be pre-packed. And as it is sold, I will be labeling it and giving, I think Angela's going to be here to help with that Saturday. And so we're hoping to cut out a lot of the flack that has been present in previous auctions by doing this prep work and make it a lot easier on everybody. Better for me, better for you guys, etc. William says, Tennyson, I will get in contact with you when you have time regarding blueprints. Yes, thank you, William. I've contacted Darren, my friend Darren Flagg, who's the Gomper breeder who produced Victor. He's having a ton of work done on his property which is out by where we're going to move to. And I asked him, he recommended a building company. I've sent them, they responded to my email. I've sent them my information. I haven't gotten anything back. I just kind of basically told them, kind of what I needed for stuff. We'll see if they get back to me. Maybe they'll think I'm crazy, especially because of another thing, which was Springfield Township apparently has a big problem with people growing marijuana. So it's it's legal to use recreationally, etc., in the state of Michigan, but different cities, townships, whatever, all have their own legislation about it. So stuff like, oh, you can't sell it, you can't grow it, you can't grow it for sale, etc. So Springfield Township apparently has a very large weed growing problem, and they said that basically with the type of setup that I'm looking at, that I should anticipate that I will be questioned about what is going on in the building, especially because, as with a lot of the world nowadays, drone surveillance is now a thing. So the township or whatever does use drones to fly over properties and look for suspicious things. Your rights, etc., as an individual, we won't get into that, but I need to be ready for this, which it will happen. Obviously, I'm going to be communicating with the township into the future about my operation and stuff, but they just said, just know that this will probably happen at some point. On the flip side, basically, I need a building like these people are using for drugs, but instead of for drugs, I need it for bugs. So I'm wondering if there's any way I can contact or get into contact with some of these operations or something and try to be like, hey, I need the building like this. Laura says this town sounds amazing. Our city council is just a bunch of money hungry people who are not helpful at all. It helps that people out there have a certain vibe about things, and the people that we talked to, they are very, it could be selfishly motivated, it could be selflessly motivated, but people are they want their peace and their quiet, and they want their perception of clean air and some natural features and the country life. And the problem there is that some people, when I get the lighting right, geez, some people, when you tell them the country living, everybody minds their own beeswax, blah 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 stuff, let be, let alone, etc. Some people think the farm with their horse and their chickens and their dogs and their guns and their whatever else, and some people think their big old house with 20 acres of mowed lawn and the pool in the backyard, and your next neighbor is a half mile down the road and they got the same. So there's two sides to this coin, and they want to make sure that they protect the constituents who want their 20 acres of lawn and their pool and all that country living lifestyle, and the growing number of people who are more like myself, who want to have the chickens and the horses and the, all that stuff. So so that's what they wanted to convey, was that there's these two different types of people, and they wanted to be accommodating to this growing base, seemingly, of people who want the chickens, who want the this and the that, while also being respectful to people who do not necessarily want that. So, Behidger says, your goats may find they like local grass then. That's funny. Roach Bunker says, William Yadeski. Elsie says, could we advertise the auction this early? Yeah, the one piece of promotional material has the date and all the info on it, so I don't see why not. Side wilderness, bugs, not drugs. Everyone always remember that. It's pretty funny because literally across the road, the property is on the dividing road between two townships. I can't remember what the township across the road is, but across the road sounds like it's a wild, wild west. You can build whatever on whatever size parcel, however big, however small, blah, 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 which just kind of sucks that on our side of the road, everything's completely different than on the other side, even though it's a bigger parcel. So, so that's where we're at. We'd also talked about the property next door and my parents, etc. My dad has made some personal decisions and has decided that he does not want to move to that property next door. very reasonable. He wants to blah, blah, blah. Met with the fiduciary, something, work a couple more years and that and this. And, I don't know, all boomer stuff is what I heard. But what we found out from the township, which was something that we had originally gotten information of from Angela's brother, is that the back part of we had asked, hey, could we maybe ask your neighbors if we could buy this pasture that they have at the back of their property? And her brother had said that, oh, there's something, blah, blah, you can't split up less than 10 acres, more than 10 acres, blah, blah. He was wrong about that. We asked the council while they were there. They pulled up the ArcGIS, Landsat archive, whatever for the property. They can actually, if the neighbors wanted to, sell us the basically the smallest piece of, or the smallest piece that they could sell from their property if they wanted to split it and sell the property was literally just the pasture. Like looking at the visual imagery, it's funny. It's like right at the pasture edge. That's like the smallest amount that they could do is just sell us that whole pasture, which I'm hoping we get an opportunity to do. It's 4.3 acres. There's no structures on it. It's a gigantic meadow of nothing, pretty much nothing but smooth brome. It's an invasive hellhole, but we could get it under control with proper herbicide and grazing management. So now we don't have to ask the neighbors if they'd sell their house, which we would not be able to afford on our own, but we can now ask them if they will split the parcel and sell us just the pasture at the back, and that will give us more accessory square footage for either expanding Roach crossing in the background or other structures and stuff that I want to build. So this is now a very, very real possibility. So we have not been able to get in touch with them. Nobody on the block has. We have no idea what's going on. So we're hoping that we can, at some point, we can get in touch with them and we can make an offer on that back parcel, which will allow us, which would make my dream of having bison one day be a very, very realistic and achievable thing. We could get there on this parcel. So, but for now, everything else that I want, including if I ever want the horses or donkeys, etc., we are clear for that. Where was it going with this? Poor calcium powder, says Circa. Laura Taylor says the big drama here was if we could spend $68,000 on putting the city logo on the water tower, not painting to protect it. They are also, short answer, have taken people's homes due to grass. Taken people's homes for grass being too tall? What do you mean by that? Devin says I'm late, but I still made it. Welcome, Devin. You missed it, but basically we have excellent news all around on building the bug building and the township, and everything is sounding like it's going to go well. Next thing, so we have the order of operations stuff to do. We need to have land cleared and we need to have fencing erected. I met with the fencing, the estimator on yesterday. I think it was yesterday or Tuesday. I can't remember. In the morning, and they got back to me with an estimate today. Extremely affordable for everything that we want to do. It is exactly what I had hoped we would be able to do all the fencing. 6-foot woven wire, no climb fencing for both behind the barn and also for the vegetable orchard garden, etc. It is looking great, including tear out of old fencing stuff that's there. They include not just the fencing that needs to be removed to put the new fencing in, but also stuff that needs to be torn out elsewhere on the property. They can do. It's day rate. So we can actually have them come out and do all this stuff and get all this stuff out there, and they're trashing a removal fee, etc. Very affordable. It's looking wonderful. And also this company, their sister company, does land clearing, etc. So on Monday, I think it's the owner that I'm meeting with. They have another job in Holly, so I'm going to meet on Monday to see how much getting all of the trees and stuff cleared that we need done would be. And it sounds like them mulching it and leaving it on the property is going to save us a lot of money, which it usually does. They won't have to dispose of all that stuff. So we have excellent news all around. The only area that we are lacking in good news on is concrete. There's some concrete work that needs to be done in the front yard, the front walk, and part of the driveway. We would like to redo before we move in, and it's I haven't been able to get in touch with a good concrete person out there. So unfortunately, that's not a big deal when we got all this other stuff. But first and foremost, before pretty much anything else could be done, was the land clearing. We need to get the trees out of there, not because they can't get to put the fencing in with all the trees as it is, but because it will be easier for them when there's nothing that they can knock over or destroy or whatever by taking out a big tree if a limb falls weird or something like that. So it's a big, clear, easily accessible property. I'm assuming it's going to be a pretty easy job for them, and it's just very exciting. Everything is looking good at this point in time. Laura says they give the people citations for lawn being too tall. People are poor and can't pay it, so it builds up and ends with them claiming the property. They put a lien on the property. The citizens are catching on and speaking out. Yeah, that's ridiculous. You could argue just cut it, but if it's like, oh, it's a little couple inches tall over here, we're gonna give you $1,000 fine. Devin says, sorry, too far away to help with the concrete. Devin, I didn't know you did concrete work. This is where we're pulling all these different skill sets from all over the place in maybe exotic wilderness. Anybody in your family do concrete work or cement work or whatever? We need a bunch of old concrete broken up, removed, and I guess there's an asphalted area broken up, removed, and actually the asphalt disposed, like dumpster, whatever. The concrete, cement, whatever, I'm keeping to pile up and use for the goats in the pasture. And then also we got to put something behind the back of the barn is going to have a concrete pad too, right off the back, make things easier, less muddy, etc. Laura Taylor says, can't fix the bridge over the RR for emergency vehicles, but city council get raised and build new things on the better side of town. It's a drama mess. It's always a drama mess. Finished concrete for 7 years, still have my tools, says Devin. That's fascinating. Again, maybe one of these days during a live stream, I'll just ask everybody, hey, what do you do? Like, everybody knows what I do. I'm just curious what everybody else does. There's, for example, one of our longtime Roach people. Has a catering business. Go figure. The caterer has a Roach collection. Let's see, anything else happening. It's just a lot. I have an expo on Saturday. That's what I'm gonna get back to doing. I'm so far behind on husbandry, but I feel like I've rolled over in caring. Like I'm back to kind of being like, oh, I'll take care of it. Chipping away at some stuff, and it's kind of, sometimes it's good to not manage things for a while. It's not always. You lose colonies of some sensitive stuff, but sometimes it's good because you take a step back from a project and you really get a perspective of whether or not you want to keep working with something. And basically things that can survive a lapse of husbandry for 2-ish months with zero care and are still doing well, then you kind of say, I like these guys. I think, when the time comes, I need to put more effort, or I need to put the effort into propagating more of these guys when I need to. One example was what's something that completely failed. One of my Dorcas titanus palawanicus slaying setups, just complete failure. I thought the female laid a bunch of eggs, but apparently she didn't, or maybe it was too humid. All the larvae died. And then another setup I have larvae in, like a good number of larvae, so that's good. There was something that I was like, I'm not working with these again anytime soon. There's a couple of tropical dynastines that I'm like, I'm not going to do this. And then I cracked open my dynasties, Grand TI, and a couple of my Titius localities, and there's like a bunch of gigantic L3 larvae, and it's like, okay, we're gonna keep running with this. In fact, we're gonna ramp up production as soon as I move. The next generation of adults are getting pampered, and we're gonna try and larva max next generation. Behigiger says, any megaphasma hatched? No, again, I think it was the humidity in the room that killed off the adults. They really like to dry. They thrive all winter with the fan blowing on them and everything. And the red cedar cut nice and fresh during the winter. And when the humidity went up, they just didn't do so well. I think last year I moved them outside because the weather improved pretty fast. So I think I got them outside in the mesh cage, and the airflow and sun and whatnot out there was good for them. But yeah, I think I labeled the cup. I collected them in April or May into the hatching cup. So I'd have to check for the label, but about 5 months, 6 months is how long it takes to hatch. And there were not many eggs. I think somewhere between 15 and 30 eggs. And I think most of them or half of them were very, very bad looking, very thin instead of the usual thicker as the Dentricus usually produce, more of a round shape. And these other ones were kind of more ovular. So I'm still in contact with the guy who sent them to me. So if I lose the whole colony and, if I lost them all, I could still get more. And other people have been finding megaphasma, but it's just not this strain. But I think just the next generation, I may even put a fan on them because I like them so much. That being said, these other native stick bugs that are right in these mesh cages right here are doing very well. The Western Shorthorn are doing very well, feeding mostly on black raspberry. I got, what is it now? The Mayor's stick insects. It's not the same genus it used to be. It's supposedly a different genus. The only native winged North American stick bug. Those are doing well, feeding on rows. You might be able to see. You can see a couple of them hanging out on the sides there, like right. There's one there, etc. I should probably move these into a bigger cube. Actually, they're doing really well. And of course, skeleton and Nisomorpha Euprestroides from Ocala are doing very well too. So yeah, those are doing well, but the Megaphasma again, I think these guys are really getting some selective pressure for something. Yeah, I don't know what. We'll see. I'm obviously going to try and raise. I'm going to try and get as many eggs from the next generation when it pops up around. It's that November, Christmas-ish. Probably be Christmas, Thanksgiving-y when the next Megaphasma will hatch out. And I won't have a shortage of red cedar either. Hyperbeam says, how are the Decrolampa fulgencioi doing? I checked on them a couple of maybe 5 days ago, and I didn't see any, but it's very humid in here. I opened the window, and the humidity dropped from 77% down to 65%, but everything that needs high humidity is doing great right now with standard ventilation, so I assume they're doing just fine. There were no dead bodies or anything like that. Exactly. Whalen says, where are you going to put the native guard? The whole property is basically going to be the native guard, and it's going to be a whole affair. Zen Monkey says 3 years from now, Michigan has a tree shortage. It traces back to some insect raising dude discovered an easier way to raise beetles and mulched all the trees. Was there a Parkablata you just lost? Yes, it was Virginica from Dearborn, Michigan. I lost them. I'm finding out that brown and red rotwoods seem to be conducive to roaches getting outbreaks of entomophagus fungus. I got to watch out for that, at least for ectobiids. I gotta see what the correlation is there exactly. But fortunately, I can get those again. Select for stick bugs that eat produce. Also, hi, hello, Jonathan Green. Yeah, it's there's Sungea do that. I need to restart my Sungea again, but really, there's just so much to do. I'm really pulling back right now. I'm going to do some heavy-duty husbandry, which I've been doing this week, but over the next couple of weeks, whenever I get the opportunity to, and really kind of bring a lot of the basement cultures up to like good standard, because again, we're getting ready for a move, and I'm trying to see what I can get away with, if it's even possible that I contacted Aquion today to see if I could buy wholesale 10 and 5.5 aquariums, because I'm wondering you know, it would be a lot easier and better for the roaches if I kind of, instead of taking them in their whole enclosures, if I just kind of took a chunk of a colony, like a big chunk of a colony, and transported that in just my car, and then left the other stuff here. And then what I can do is I can go on the auction Discord and just say, all right, here's a set of things, the left behinds stuff from these cultures that I'm moving, and then I could sell a big chunk of them, and then very crappily wash out the tanks and then sell them at the next expo, or put them on Craigslist or something, or sell, take some cultures to sell, or make them available, you know, something that minimizes the amount of work that I have to do while maximizing the health of the roaches. And taking big chunks of roach colonies, like a couple hundred individuals of some, and moving them to a new enclosure, especially when they're already doing well, is an excellent way to get good momentum going, and without a crash happening or having to take a couple individuals. You really get, it's really the best way to do things, to get like 100 to 200 individuals and then just move them into a fresh container. So what's the 27th auction going to be like, says Stephen Logan. It's going to be like any other auction, but I'm thinking my quiet, not so quiet plan is that everything's going to have dollar starting bids. I mentioned before, I'm going to go around the day before and pack everything up. Everything is getting packed into its shipping cups and labeled and everything. And so for each section, I will have, Angela's probably going to help me. Angela will bring in a container full of the containers up for bids. I will go through them as I pick them out of the thing and say, okay, we've got this up for grabs. Maybe I'll show them off, but that really takes too much time. Maybe I'll just show enough just so people can see the sizes of stuff that they're bidding on and whatnot. But it's probably going to be 4 or 5 hour auction, so it's going to be going until 1 or 2. I'm going to try to go fast. Dollar starting bids probably cover anywhere from 100 to 200 items, and then Sunday will be spent packing them into boxes. When somebody wins an item, I will write their name on it, like physically write their name on the thing that they're receiving, put it into a pile or put it back into the box. Angela will take those out of the room, sort them by names, etc., get boxes ready, and we will get everything out that upcoming week. And I'm hoping this will be a good new format for some types of auctions, just so it helps people get things faster. It's less stress for me. Everything's packed up already. In case some of the culture crashes or one of a billion things happen, it's like, this is so much better for everybody if I do things this way. So Zero Cool Ninja says, what's up, my man Kyle? Hello. Actually, reminding me I need to contact somebody about sending me some bugs. Neighbor wants me to see if his cat is in. I should go do that. I'll do that when I wrap up the stream in a little bit. Let's see. So that's where everything's at with the move. All good news, as you all can hear. It's very digestible. It seems like things are going to be affordable. And then the next question everybody's had is website redux. And really, again, I've kind of been saying I'm going to have to put pretty much everything on the hold while this moving process is happening. And unfortunately, that's just going to be part of it. But the new building will have an office. And so I will have a nice place that I can dump lots of time in, away from my personal life, and I'll be able to get away from work a lot easier, which will ultimately allow me to work more. I will have a separate space for all this stuff. Things will be more efficient. I'll have more raw materials on hand. Things will be a lot more streamlined. I'll probably have an assistant too at some point, more perhaps sooner than later. I don't know. But things are looking pretty good all around. As you can probably see, stressed, working a lot, thinking a lot, but it's going well. I had a nice 4th of July. I drank way too much. Took me a day to recover. It's okay. We always need, some of us need a day like that sometimes. I don't think I necessarily needed it, but it helped a little bit to force me to slow down and relax. If the winner of the 2024 Rhino Roach pairs, Satchel's one of them, and the other person, I think it was Double Z. If you're hearing this, if you're here, etc., I just checked the rhinos today. We have 2024 babies, so we're just going to wait for them to be sexable. Probably going to take, I don't know, another month or two. But 2024 rhino babies are here. I've got a cohort growing up from last year. I am hoping that by 2027, 2028, I will be producing over 100 rhino roaches a year. That's the hope. I think it's very reasonable. I think I've got them down to an art and a science. I'd also like to say, speaking of roaches, that I have a couple of nifty new species that I have acquired. And I would also just like to say that some of our North American neighbors to the north of us here in the United States have contributed greatly to the invertebrate husbandry knowledge and just the hobby in general. And I would like to thank you. You know who you are if you're listening to this, and or maybe you do or don't. I just wanted to say that out there is we should be thankful for some of these people who are doing some work to get us some nifty bugs, whether they are our countrymen or not, countrymen and women or not. So yeah, that's where everything's at, everybody. I kept saying the wiggle's going to go away, and it's not, and blah blah. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. And again, the wiggle going away would not be permanent. That's a very temporary thing until all this craziness dies down. But if things go kind of smoothly with this move, which it could, I think if Aquion gets back to me and they tell me that they can do this. Oh, that's another good thing. Hooray for international cooperation. Thanks, Bahajajur. Does anybody here know a good tool for cutting glass and an adhesive for fixing metal to glass? Because if I'm able to get stuff from Aquion, if they're able to do a big old wholesale order of stuff, I'm going to, like I said, with this chunking colonies thing, I'm going to bring my enclosures into their final form, which is going to be gasketed glass tanks. The glass is aesthetic. It lasts a long time. It does not scratch as easily as plastic does. The Aquion tanks have been very good for me. Have performed very well for me over the last 6 to 8 years. I think I want to outfit them with front watering ports, like I have here in the office on my funariums, and I like to be able to do that myself so that I can use the standard size 1-inch watering port thing. But I think it's a 1/2-inch hole. Maybe it's a 1/2-inch hole. I have to measure it. So I need to invest in a tool for cutting glass without it shattering, without killing myself, etc. Anybody, a hammer should work. Thank you, Exotic Wilderness. So if anybody here does that kind of stuff, please let me know. Basically, the cost is not a problem for this tool. I need to invest in it. Diamond drill bit, says William Yadeski. Zen Monkey says fresh sharp glass cutting wheel and kerosene silicone. Get the king of DIY's aquarium book. Okay, for holes like that, you will need a diamond hole saw. All right, that's what I'm going to need. About to ventilate all my tanks. So basically, the goal with this is to be able to water from the front. And by being able to water from the front, this will allow me to, I will no longer have to worry about water penetrating the screen at the top. And so this will let me do something else that I've wanted to do for a while now, which is create a screen that is hopefully forward fly proof and just general pest proof, fruit flies and anything else. It will give me better control over enclosures. I'll lose some functionality. I'll lose some good things like fungus gnat row beetles being able to get between enclosures and stuff like that. But glass hole saws work well, but it takes experience to not crack, says Behijager. I'm fine with that. I will have spare tanks that I can practice on. That doesn't intimidate me as long as I can get it to the point where it's consistent. And of course, I need Aquion to say that they're going to give me a bunch of tanks for a good price. So I'm finally flexing the muscle, guys. I did in the email. I did say that I own the largest roach collection in the world. I'm not ready to start screaming that at the top of my lungs, public knowledge, Guinness World Record stuff. I'm not ready to do that yet. I want to hit 300 strains and species. We're very close. We are very close to that. I want to hit 300 strains and species and then be able to say that. But on top of that, I won't feel it in my heart of hearts until I've hit 500. But at the rate things have been going, that's probably only 5 to 10 years off. So diamond hole saw, yes. This seems to be the consensus. Serpa Design has some good videos on it. He cuts glass and holes in it all the time. It's sponsored by them. We'll see what they say when they have that information, but it'll be better for sponsorship if I have a nice building that's all clean and organized and up to snuff. So anyways, my hope with the side port is that I will be able to water, which is the biggest thing that needs to go in and out, and that I can then reinforce the lids that I currently have, because I do like these Zilla whatever lids. They're a great framework for me to modify and build off of with replaceable materials, replaceable gaskets, replaceable tape, all this stuff. I think I will probably use epoxy to adhere the microscreen to the lids though, but this would bring me just to the cutting edge of this stuff. I would no longer have to do mesh underlays. In fact, I need to go looking around for that microscreen stuff. It doesn't even need to be heavy gauge. We need brass screen, and see if somebody can cut it for me. If there's anybody out here, brass screen sheets. If there's anybody out here, 1 millimeter, yeah, that's fine. Anybody out here who works with woven wire mesh, brass, etc., and wants to make some money. Oh, there's steel too, stainless steel. I don't know if brass or steel's the way to go. It's stainless steel, so it shouldn't rust. But anybody have any thoughts on that? Stainless steel versus rust, or stainless steel versus brass? Zen Monkey says more space is going to accelerate your collection. Think how you've down-regulated adding due to space constraints. I have enough room for everything that I have right now, and then some if I organized and respaced some things better. I still have enough room, but it's so much easier to just do a line of enclosure racks and be able to just fill them down the line and, kind of work into an established everything's identical, etc., than it is to, okay, I'm going to do roaches over here, and I have to fit an isopod thing on this rack because I ran out of racks in a row for this other thing. It will be so much better to just have a whole line of stuff that I can go right down and set things up on. Stainless steel, brass will corrode more easily. I've come to prefer 60 mesh. A lot of people talking of stainless steel. In all my usage of brass, and some of these containers have been going, some of the brass containers that I have been going for over a decade now without any issues. Even with the tarnishing, it's a restricted process. But if you guys are saying stainless steel is the way to go, if you got any links to sheets of that, I would be interested. If you have any interest in making some credit with Roach Crossing, in making some money from me from Roach Crossing, and are willing to cut stainless steel sheets with 1 millimeter 1 millimeter hole. I think that's the size that I need. Is that 1 millimeter should keep everything that I don't want getting in and out. Yeah, 1 millimeter, that should work. Actually, maybe. How much is the spacing? Three mirrors by 1 meter. 0.37. Can you actually 0.37 is what I use currently? What I have is 0.37 millimeter. Anyways, anybody out there who wants to make money or Roach Crossing credit and is willing to cut stainless steel sheets to my specifications, send me an email, the K Candilli email, and I will pay you for stuff, and we can work on that. If you're willing to do that for me. Same with anybody with cutting muslin fabric. It is such a time-consuming process for me, and I don't like doing it. I don't like the fraying on the edges. If anybody here wants to make some money by cutting muslin fabric to my specifications and then using fray prevention stuff on the edges, let me know. I'm happy to pay you for your work or to swap you trade value and bugs, etc. LC, yes. Somebody I know found a paraplenia lateralis white eye. I've been trying to get it for like a year and a half now, but the Roach Wiggle member who was in contact with that guy, apparently the guy didn't give him any or something. So if you have those, I want them. Just know that. I want them very badly. So they have been found, but nobody seems to have isolated it or gotten it going. So if you found that, let me know. I would be very interested. Yeah, so again, opportunities for people who want to cut screens and mail them to me, obviously. Let me know, get in touch. I'd be happy to pay you for that. The Amish will do nearly anything with fabric except wear spandex. That's funny. I don't got any Amish here. I need Roachish. I need Roach Wiggle-ish. So hearing that the dogs are up to something. I'm trying to think if I hear weird noises or something. Satchel, two pieces of news for you. One, we have 2024 rhino roaches. I'm just waiting for them to be sexable size. So just know those are going to be ready within the next 1 to 2 months. And two, Satchel, we had talked about the Cotinus nitida, and you wanted to know if I wanted some more, and I said I don't know. I probably have some from you that are pupating. Well, I thought that I kind of thought that everything in that bin was a goner because I lost my Metabolist this year. I should not have cooled the Metabolist. That's definitely what killed them. 100%. I should not have cooled my Cotinus Metabolist. I should have left them at room temperature. But the Nitida I cooled, and I went to open the container to dispose of it today, and there were like 7 adults ready to go. And there's probably more in pupil cells because I didn't see any dead bodies on the surface. So I am going to just fully crack open the container, yoink all the adults, set them up in a larger enclosure, and we're going to get it going again. So this is actually a pretty big successful breeding of Cotinus nitida for me. I was surprised by the results, actually. So Alan, if you're still here, I lost all my Pelidnota punctata localities. I lost the Tuscaloosa's. I lost the Bryceville. Don't 100% know why. Again, they were all on basically the same substrate, but I just couldn't get those other larvae going. I think too much humidity during the winter because I had them in smaller containers and I had the Key Largos. But the Key Largos, and I pushed myself to do this even when I was busy. I actually gave them like grape leaves from outside. The Key Largos bred and had a good number of larvae. So we're good on the punctata Key Largos for another year. What a ridiculous animal. Beetles can be so ridiculous. The punctata Key Largo live for 2 to 4 weeks, and they're beautiful and they're pretty, and then they just seem to die, and you think you've lost them all, you've ruined the culture, and then the next thing you know, there's a bunch of larvae in there. So I lost my Chrysina gloriosa. I think similar thing happened. They got too moist during the winter time. I should have just left the lid off and let them dry out. So I lost my Cave Creek Canyon gloriosa. I had a couple of adults emerge, but they were just so sporadic and my heart wasn't in it, so I didn't do anything with them. That being said, I am now getting Chrysina woodeye pupating, and they seem to be synchronizing without any issues. So it's looking like I'm going to get an F1, F1 of captive bred woodeye out of the group that I have. So you need me to keep an eye out for Cotinus metabolus. Devin, yes, I would love to get another group of metabolus going. If you collected, I don't know, a dozen adults or something, I would love to get some larvae from metabolus and not screw up with them, because that was like an F3 or something for the Bilus Arizona ones. I'm not going back to Bilus. So I might as well, more closer to home hitting metabolus strain from where you're from. Satchel saying beetles are obnoxious except for grain pests, of course. Darkling beetles are great. All my darkling beetles are doing fine. A lot of my seedlings are doing fine too. They were larvae before I got busy, so they're just plowing through the substrate. And the genus Dynastes is pretty good. Tripoxylus, those started emerging. I did communal pupation this time, and I've got at least one male and 3 females that already closed, and I am working on pairing those. I do want to mass produce Tripoxylus. They've been easy enough. That's a good beetle. They live an okay amount of time as adults, 2 generations per year, not picky about their substrate for the larvae. That's a good one. Dynastes Grantii and Tidius as well. Actually, I'm reminding I need to contact somebody in the Discord who's going to be getting Utah Grantii, which I did really want. I kind of want them from the extremes of their range, and that's one of them. Grantii. Let's see if I can find this conversation. Who was it with? Just letting you know, I do still want locality Grantii. There we go. Just a nice little check-in, Satchel, is this an invitation to turn you into tiger beetle? Says Jonathan Green. I'm really going to try not to go too crazy with stuff when I move to the new building, in the sense that I want to secure my bases. I've got a lot of good stuff here. There's a lot of stuff that I could lose if I get sloppy with it. And though I am kind of surrendering this summer to getting new stuff, because I usually be getting lots of new stuff over the summer, I got to fight those urges and kind of get some good roots set in at the new place. And again, I've got plenty of good stuff. There's no shortage of cool things here. So I've got to really just kind of secure my bases and get this stuff in a good spot, so that so next summer, end of next summer, I can really start to expand into some oddball things and whatnot. But I mean, again, there's so much cool stuff just in this room alone. I got to be kind of cautious so I don't lose key stuff that can't be gotten again, like the Key Largo punctata. Probably nobody would be getting Pellinota from the keys other than like Alan. So I need to make sure that those were really well off. Devin says I get them in my yard every year. Yeah, Devin set out a watermelon or something and try to bring in a couple of them. Then he says culture some carpet beetles in the carpet like me. They breeding in the windowsills here. Some of them. Elsie says the Paraplanilateralis in my yard don't have white eyes, but they do have 2 strips on there. What was that? Excuse me for a second. Must be children being whimsical outside. I thought something was going on in the backyard. But apparently it's just the whimsy of the youth. It's the shrieks of children, I guess. I don't know. So anyways, there's a lot of variety in lateralists. I kind of wanted to start selecting for some of it, but the white eyes is just such a prominent thing and so easy. I don't have time to line breed lateralists at the moment. Enough of my Gromphidorina projects are kind of in need to some stewarding that I shouldn't be focusing on Paraplitida lateralis at the moment. Devin says, I've got 80 different fig varieties. No need to set out a watermelon. Devin, how large is your property? And also, if you got any good cold hardy fig varieties, I would love cuttings, because currently I just have the Chicago hardy, and it's been fine here. I move it in my garage every winter, and then I put it back out, and I get a good yield every again, small was a Breba crop, and then I get a very good size if I keep watering actual crop later in the summer. So I do want to have more figs. That's on my list of stuff to try in ground. My neighbor Joe's been trying a bunch of in ground figs. I think he's having mixed results. Most of them don't ripen by the time we get our first frost when they're left outdoors, because they don't really maintain a lot of above ground growth here. In the winter, you basically relying on the new growth to produce stuff. Alan says, no more Keys trip for me. That's unfortunate unless someone pays for a flight there and also drive me around. Maybe that'll be me one day. I got to do another trip to Florida, though. That's on the docket, and the Texas trip, and I could go on and on. But, yeah, so there's stuff like that I need to keep and make sure it's doing well and not going to lose it. Raceland says, is there anything else from Utah you want to keep an eye out when collecting? It's very hit or miss right now. If you found Eleotes sutralis, I'm not sure if it ranges into Utah. I'd take those. I'm always up for sand roaches. If you find sand roaches in Utah, I will take those without question. But Dynasties Grantii from Utah was the big thing. I'm really loving our North American, north of the border dynasties. Both species have been great. I figured them out. I got them down to an art and a science now. I'm ready to start doing the crazy stuff like breeding for size and color and all this stuff. I feel very comfortable with both of them, and I think they feel comfortable with me. I think I produced from my captive bred Grantii from Cave Creek Canyon, I don't know, maybe 100 plus larvae this year. So feeling pretty good about that. Devin says, 1/4 acre, but I've grafted all my trees with multiple varieties. That's the key there. I couldn't keep track of that. Everything that I have when we get the vegetable garden, etc., going, everything's going to have clear divisions. So there'll be, I don't know if I'll put pavers or something between different stuff. And we try not to grow similar plants in the same bed. So different types of allium will all be in separate beds with separate other things. Everything's going to have metal tags. Metal tags have been working great so far. I might try to up my metal tag game down the line, actually. Maybe get like a small engraving machine or something crazy. Do we have all the wasps needed for 80 fig varieties? That's funny. Or are they all self-fertile? A lot of them are. Devin says, no wasps needed for common fig varieties, only for the San Pedro main crop and Smyrna type figs. Hyperbeam says, is fig eater beetle care pretty much the same as Pacnota? Yes, but they will not pupate in their frass. They want to pupate in clay or sand or sandy clay. So you need a layer of that at the bottom of the enclosure. And Nitida probably wants cooling. The Tabalus does not want cooling, from my experience. And for both of them, the other annoying thing is the adults are pretty long-lived. They have an okay lifespan. But the annoying thing is that you're pretty much on both species, from my experience now, you're locked into a 1-year cycle. You will not be able to get more than one generation per year, basically, which is kind of annoying. Jonathan says, how long do dynasties live? Titius and Grantii live for, once they're reproductively active, the females live a couple of months. Basically, they lay all their eggs and they use up all their energy doing that. The adult males seem to be able to live for somewhere between like 3 and 8 months, and everybody has a different answer for that. I would be surprised if an adult Titius lived for a year. I would be very surprised. Maybe females can live much longer if they're not fertilized, but basically most of those beetles, the canids, dynastines, the second the females fertilize, the clock just really starts ticking. Zen Monkey says, what I'm hearing is Alan would be willing to hang out with me for the simple price of an airline ticket. Probably. Alan says, maybe, Chris. Devin says, all my branches of metal tags identifying every graft, not self-fertile, just ripens with no viable seeds. Interesting. That is very interesting. I didn't even know that fruits could. I guess bananas do that, and seedless grapes and whatnot. Just interesting. Very interesting. Do you have Cryptocarchus Cleveland dye? No, I had those at one point. I still am brain thinking what is up with Cryptocarchus. I might have bred punctulatus. I might have a colony of punctulatus going, actually. I need to crack that bin open before I move and do a final assessment, because there might be a colony established in there 2-3 years later now. But I gotta do more. I gotta do more brain thinking on Cryptocarchus. I don't think it's temperature. I'm not convinced temperature and the protozoans and all that stuff. I do not think that's why they don't do well in captivity. I think it's something to do with there being a relationship between them and a fungus, and that they kind of facilitate each other. And if you don't have the right wood for the fungus and you don't have the right conditions for the fungus and blah, 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 the Cryptocarchus die and don't do well. So, a person says, not me missing yet another stream. Sorry about the silverfish, Kyle. Yes, I lost my 2 California silverfish. Longicaudatum are doing fine. Utah stuff's doing fine. Species Israel's doing fine. Firebrats are doing fine, but I lost the 2 other species I had. And it basically came down to humidity shenanigans, which is the name of the game at this time of year. But hopefully not in the future at the Roach building. Alan asked, did you ever get another group of Stylifera? No, we're still in negotiations about the Stylifera several months later, but maybe this is for the better. Maybe it's good I didn't get them, because then I wouldn't have killed them, although I probably would have set them up in here and taken very, very, very good care of them. So, I'll get them eventually. We'll get them next time. It'll happen. I'll just be patient and keep asking people. Let's see, other things, other news, other stuff. I think we're just about good to wrap up here. A person says, on a light note, my leather leaves are eating watermelon. Zero Cool says, a trip to Fly Affordable is befriend someone in the airline business. They have free friends and family. C-class tickets. Interesting. Elsie says, were they my silverfish I sent you? Elsie, I did identify those. They ended up just being regular firebrats. So I already have a firebrat colony. I didn't want to set up another one, so I unfortunately fed them off. But I appreciate you sending them to me. They could have been something very, very weird. You just needed to wait for them to molt a bit, and then they did. Steven says, any word on getting giant guinea pigs? Nada. That project's kind of on ice right now until the move, and again, it's going to take me probably going to Florida and going around the slums trying to find a pet store that gets them straight from Central America or whatever. But keep waiting, keep trying. Again, you live long enough, you see a lot of stuff, as long as it doesn't go extinct. So, all right. Any final questions or comments, everybody? This is a very good live stream. I'm glad after months of stressing and telling you guys, oh, this is going bad and we don't know if this is going to happen and blah, 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 it's nice to finally have some good news about stuff. Things are on a good trajectory. And if I keep working my butt off, I'd probably be, all my roaches and all my bugs will be super duper on top of husbandry, fresh substrate, fresh this, fresh that, colony split, set up a new stuff, pest remove, all this stuff could be done by the end of the month. And again, we're just day by day, chip by chip, we're taking care of stuff that needs to be moved to the new property. We still have to work out some stuff with that. We got to talk with Angela's brother. He's been very reasonable and very generous so far, but we got to get a finalize everything, and we might do that on Sunday, so that would be nice. Zero Cool Ninja says, I'm going to send you an email after the stream. Thank you. Yes. Person says, oh, that's why you look like you've regained your sanity. Yeah, I'm messy because I've been working and not because I'm dying. Basically, I'm not sitting here stressed out of my mind. Auction orders, except for like 3, all of which are people who wanted delays or who are getting them in person, have all been taken care of. So that's a big weight off my chest. Although there is still some USPS, especially Austin, Texas USPS stuff, driving me nuts. The new click and ship and the old click and ship would put the address of the post office in the recipient box. That's how it is. That is how USPS officially does this. And all these post offices have been doing weird things with boxes because, it's addressed to the post office, not to the person. It's like, this is what it does. This is what your official service does. This is not my fault. This is how it fills this out. So I might even end up all hold for pickup boxes going to Austin. I might end up having to write in gigantic Sharpie on them, like hold for pickup at this address, etc., and skirt the click and ship stuff because they are driving me nuts. This is insane. It's the Texas Austin area, specifically USPS, that's doing this right now, and it sucks. And my apologies to people whose boxes are in weird situations now because of this, but this is a 100% the Austin area post office's issue, and a couple of other places have been having some issue stuff as well with this, but primarily Texas and especially the Austin area. So I might just end up writing hold. It's really frustrating and it's very distressing because I'm hoping bugs will make it back all right, and then I have to coordinate with the people who placed the stuff. But so far, I have not had a single box from the auction returned to me. Everything is still somewhere out there, lost in the mail or whatever is going on. Or they say, we're not holding it for pickup, but then it's sitting there in the post office. I don't know. It's nuts. So if you have an order that something like that's happened to, and I will be telling people who are placing orders this with the Austin area stuff, that there's this madness going on right now. We'll figure something out. Anyway, so with that being said, everybody, let's try and get up to those 1K subscribers. We're just, I think it was 167 away. Spam Roach crossing places. Tell them you got a funny guy, say funny things, talk about bug here for a couple hours. We've got all kinds of fun stuff on the horizon with the new building. Try and get some people in here because let's do a Roach Crossing after dark. We got to give that karaoke winner. We got to give them their money's worth, and we got to do another thing I promised I would do at the next Roach Crossing after dark is we would do an isopod smash a pass. I'm still committed to that vision, and we will do it, but it has to happen at an after dark. So let's make it happen. 1K subscribers, we can get there. Anyways, thank you everybody for joining me for a very positive stream with no interruptions this time, no wiggling the cable stuff. I believe next week there's nothing. If we'll have a stream next week, it's just a question of how long it'll be because, again, the 19th we're moving stuff, and I think I told Angela that if she's available that night of the 18th, that I want to get stuff ready to go. Like I want to go through some containers and say, I haven't used these in a decade. Let me just pitch these so we don't have to take them anywhere. So I asked her if she would be able to help me with that stuff. But we'll do at least a half an hour stream next week. I'll be here. And we'll do that, and I'll give everybody an update on things on how the next week goes. So, with that being said, everybody, take care. I'll see you all next week. And may your cultures ever be bountiful. Go outside and find some cool bugs, everybody. It is summer after all. We wait months for this time of year. So, bye.